Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys, hopefully to having a successful week and getting through all these technical difficulties. This is freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer, Donald Patak. There's my contact information, copyright, standard YouTube copyright. Keys to the reading. I read what is called constellational astrology, also known sometimes, oops, no, gosh, come on, previous, no, geez, what the, all right. Like I said, technical difficulties. I read constellational astrology, which is also known as true sidereal. It's astrology by the visible sky. Tropical astrology fixes the signs to seasons, the way they looked back in around 220 AD or so. Constellational astrology asks, where is it in the sky right now? Really? Which leads to about a 25-degree difference. I read the natural sizes of the constellations. There are astrologers who make every sign 30 degrees, when in reality, they're all over the place. Virgo's huge at just under 50. Scorpio, Ophiuchus, Cancer, Libra, Aries all barely make, 25 degrees. So the constellations are all over the place in their sizes, which makes for some interesting transits. I read astrological midpoints. And what does that mean? The boundaries as they exist on a star map are drawn by the IAU, and they just draw them. Athan Shimenti was looking at this, and he noticed that for the constellation Ophiuchus, it was drawing on stars whose names began with the word Scorpius, meaning Ophiuchus was being read where Scorpio is. So he developed what he calls the midpoints, which uses the zodiac belt, looks at the constellations, the last bright stars, and finds a midpoint so that you're actually reading things. I think it works better. And you heard me mention Ophiuchus. I do read 13 signs because in ancient times there were. One sign was knocked out for some reason. I'm not going to go into it. But the missing sign is known as Ophiuchus. It's the wounded healer. It's where you gain knowledge so that you can learn to heal yourself and then serve as an example and help others heal. These are the weekly edition. This is the weekly edition, which are universal lessons for everyone. So have compassion on your fellow Earth Pounders. I read evolutionary astrology, which says these are lessons to learn. My dates are based on the Eastern US time zone, and I'm looking within 1 degree of exactness to kind of keep things easier. Oh, it's my cat's doing something. If I go wider, it makes it a little overwhelming for me. And if I'm overwhelmed, you're lost. So, yeah. These are the weekly transits for the week of December 2nd through 8th, 2024. We have the sun begins the week in Scorpio, and by the end will be in Ophiuchus. The moon begins in Ophiuchus and ends in Pisces. It sounds like a lot, but very early on Monday, the moon does go into Sagittarius. So it's really Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. And it doesn't enter Pisces until Sunday-ish. So, yeah. First quarter moon is on Sunday in, Aquarius. Our active planets for the week. The Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all active this week on the inner planets, and the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune are the ones making the most transits. And our power transits are the Sun and Mercury and Venus and Pluto this week. We don't have anything going long, but we do have those two conjunctions. Station retrograde. Mars is deciding to revisit Cancer. So basically, your energy to take action may feel a little stuck. And moving station direct, meaning it's going to be moving forwards. Neptune. So Neptune is going to be moving forward. Mars is moving backwards, Joyce. And the rest of our retrograde crew is Mercury, learning and communication, Jupiter, which is opportunity, Uranus, which is your individuality, and Chiron, which is healing. And retrograde just means this is a time of reflection in those areas of your life. So learning, opportunity, individuality, and healing are you. And we're joined on my lap by two cats. Like I said, this is the technical difficulty edition because the web is overloaded from this storm. This is the week, and as you can see, it starts out Monday. It's going to do some doodling. Monday and early into Tuesday, we finish out last week, but then we get this, pardon this phrase, snowball effect. I'm out here getting hit by the snow. It really picks up, and you can see that it just gets busier and busier towards the weekend, and it finally, excuse me, I'm really tired this week. It really picks up and just gets busier and busier. Sunday's kind of the quietest part of the end of the week, but it's just a much busier week than it's been in the past. And here you see we start with Monday within Sagittarius. Thursday morning, we're in Capricorn. Saturday morning, I think it is, we're Sagittarius. And Sunday in the afternoon, we go into Pisces. So the moon is actually relatively stable. And we go Mercury retrograde on Thursday. Friday, the sun enters Ophiuchus. Saturday, Venus enters Capricorn. Got to put sign changes in there. And then Sunday, we get the first quarter moon. So kind of a busy weekend, honestly. From Thursday on, it really, really picks up. And let me close this out. There we go. So finishing up from last week, we begin with Mercury retrograde in Ophiuchus. So Mercury is learning and communication, and Ophiuchus, the lesson is learning to heal. So you're reflecting on, are you learning the lessons of healing or not? And it's in trying to Chiron retrograde in Pisces. What makes this a little interesting is that Chiron is the natural ruler of Ophiuchus. It's the co-ruler of Ophiuchus, according to Athens Shementi. So Mercury is in the sign that Chiron rules, which adds to it a little bit of energy. And Chiron in Pisces is learning to be present with the healing, and healing your ability to be in the present moment. So really, are you learning to heal and be present to it? So let's see, what did I have doodled here? Reflecting on healing lessons, what you have learned, reflect on the knowledge, how it can be helping you. Releasing old knowledge can be beneficial. So, over time, what used to be like take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning is now, oh, you have a mineral deficiency and we're going to bump up your minerals. Trines are easy energies to work with. So you're releasing knowledge that's no longer serving you and being able to learn. And this opens up the door for you to be able to learn new ways of healing. Now, in the shadow, Mercury can be a know-it-all or someone who thinks they can't learn, and Chiron can be taking knowledge and refusing to learn it and refusing to heal or using that knowledge to wound. So thinking that you're completely healed or you know everything can lead to mistakes. Also, endless chatter, not sharing information can lead to deep wounding of yourself and others. And also trying to live in the fantasy of the past or in the future. Anywhere but the now leads to problems. And that's over on Monday. And also we have, Venus in Sagittarius and a trine to Uranus in Taurus. Venus in Sagittarius, Sagittarius, you're learning faith and trust. And Venus in relationships, also Venus can be your creativity. So it's learning to have trust in relationships, trust in other people, trusting yourself and your creative abilities. And Uranus is reflecting on your individuality and who are you really. And in Taurus, it's finding that peace and stability. So let's see, what do I have here? Release stress by letting go of who or what is not true to you. Reflect on what brings you peace in your relationships or stability and strength. Also pay attention to authenticity. Explore what it means to you. Paying attention to people. Look to people who are independent-minded. Can be very helpful here. And making friends of them, because there are people who are independent-minded who do it in a way without being like cocky jerks. And then those are the types of people to learn from. Everybody has their opinion. You've got yours, and I respect that. And that's a good thing. That type of an attitude. In the shadow, trying to stick out like a sore thumb, being overconfident, or selling out and trying to fit in with other people just is missing the point. So standing out, being someone you are not, or looking for the easy way out of situations leads to problems. So if you're trying to sell out hoping to fit in, that's just not going to help you. And finally, we have the moon in Ophiuchus. So it's emotional healing. We go through this cycle once a month. So yeah, once every 28 days, moon spends about a day in Ophiuchus. So it's a day for emotional healing and releasing of emotional wounds. So yeah, excuse me. So be open to learning how to heal and receive it and release wounds. You know, healing means you're letting things go. Refusing to heal or wounding yourself or others emotionally can be a devastating experience. So let that go. And on Monday, the moon enters Sagittarius. So it spends some time healing, and now it's learning faith and trust and looking for fresh new ideas and willing to get up and go out and explore. So expect opportunities and experiencing them in action can be a good thing. So be open to new experiences in that way. And the moon is emotional, and in Sagittarius, it can be overconfident or underconfident. So it can be too cocky or holding itself back and hiding. So be careful of over underconfidence. It can leave you trapped in the status quo after, at the end of this journey through Sagittarius. So be careful about that. You don't want to stay caught in the past. But you don't want to run towards a future that may not exist the way you think it does. It's okay, toes. You got my lap to yourself now. Okay. And Tuesday, if I have there's so much stuff, and I had to redo this like several times because I had dates wrong. So Tuesday, Mercury in Ophiuchus is opposite Jupiter and Taurus, and they're both retrograde. So Mercury is learning to heal, and Jupiter is reflecting on the opportunity for peace. And so, is healing bringing you peace in your life and stability and calm? And are you using it for that opportunity? So, reflect on learning and speech. Is it bringing your opportunities for peace and stability or joy? Gosh, Jupiter loves the joy and happiness. Make sure you're paying attention to others, then opportunities may arrive. Maybe an opportunity to celebrate, and that can bring healing. Who knows? In the shadow here, because there's the ideal, and then, well, there's that other stuff. Mercury can think it knows it all. It can talk too much as a defense against learning, being a know-it-all, or thinking that it can't learn at all. So you do need to be careful about that. And Jupiter can be overconfident or underconfident in its abilities and thinking that it's stable. So be careful about that. So in one of my notes also here, so be careful that you think you're healed and you're not, and that you have this strength that you don't have can cause problems. So be careful of talking too much or ignoring events around yourself. Also, not reflecting on learning or the opportunities presented to you. Also, being arrogant or lacking confidence in what you do and do not know can pull you out of balance. I think that's something very important here. Confidence in your learning, and make sure that you got the confidence, and make sure you know that you know what you know. And let's see. Sun in Scorpio squaring Saturn in Aquarius. So Sun in Scorpio, the Sun is your ego, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face. You came here to learn how to have a healthy ego. And if you like the word ego, use the word personality or identity. I do get when people talk about ego and what they mean, and that's what I call the shadow. What they're calling the ego in that sense is what I call the shadow. But you came here to, the Sun in Scorpio is exploring your identity deeply. And the challenge here is to release what's not true to you. Saturn in Aquarius is about maturing in authenticity, and you're learning to be who you are. And this is a waning square or a releasing square. So as you're exploring who you are really, you're releasing the things that are not authentic to you so that you can become more of who you really are. So let's see. So accept the challenge of letting go of who you are now so you can do the work of becoming who you are. Learning about yourself can help you mature. Also make you more likable. The shadow, well, we all know about the sun. The ego can burn too bright, and we not even I don't even know that I have to go into Scorpio, but Scorpio can be moody. We all know that. What else? Yeah, Scorpio can be dark, moody, brooding. Yeah. And then Saturn and Aquarius. Saturn can, in Aquarius, I still struggle the way to just put Saturn in this, but Saturn actually rules Aquarius. Um, Saturn and Aquarius. The shadow of Saturn is why bother when you can't, you can't win the fight, so why bother? So in Aquarius, it can either act out and stick out like a sore thumb and do things to get a reaction from people, or it can sell out in the hopes of fitting in. So here you have this ego that's moody and brooding and doing this struggle against trying to be someone, anyone, and it can be acting out or selling out. And that shadow of the square is this crushing weight that it just grinds everything down to dust and blows away. And instead of providing strength, becomes destabilizing. So let's see, what do I have here? Remaining in the past or trying to be fake can feel restricting or have you trapped in a meaningless identity. Seeing everything as overwhelming or impossible can also lead to living a fake life. So, being crushed under being someone that you're not can be like bad. And then Venus in Sagittarius, sextiling Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Venus and Sagittarius, having faith in your relationships and learning to have faith and trust people can be a good thing. And the, Neptune in Pisces, I heard this. I think Stephen Forrest said it. I like this. Neptune in Pisces, don't just do something, sit there. So learning to be present and in the present moments, because Neptune does govern your spirituality and your ability to be present. And in Pisces, Neptune actually rules Pisces. That was different. I was scratching my cat and something fell off of him, and I have no idea what it was. So I just threw it in a litter box that's close by. Okay. I don't suffer from ADD, ADHD. I enjoy it. It's just going to drive you nuts. So we have the Venus relationships, Neptune being present, and so it's learning to be present in relationships. And with that sextile, it's an excitement or an interest. So you're interested in releasing things that are keeping you away from being present and being with people and learning to trust them. So let's see, what do I have here? Explore opportunities in relationships or creativity to be present. Are you? So that's the retrograde or that reflective. So you're doing that, checking to make sure you're in the present moment. Um, Let go of distractions whenever possible. A little idealism can be helpful. Look to spirit for inspiration and be able to wait for it. That's the other thing. We want our in this day and age, we want everything yesterday. And the fact of the matter is that you have to wait for things. So, with Neptune and Pisces, being present means learning to wait sometimes. That's a good lesson to learn. The shadow, Venus, can be slick and manipulative and overconfident in Sagittarius or underconfident. And, they're underconfident people who I worked with teenagers. Some of those kids have absolutely no confidence and can be very manipulative and know how to play the victim and get people to do stuff for them. So yeah, so underconfidence and manipulation go hand in hand, believe me. And Neptune and Pisces can be just living in a fantasy or trying to escape or numbing yourself to the pain of life. So being manipulative or living in a fantasy or delusion about others can lead to feelings of nervousness or a loss of confidence in your ability to be in relationships and be around people. It can also have you living a fantasy about your own friendships, which would be absolutely horrible, thinking that you have friends and in reality, you don't. That really bites. So Wednesday, take a breath. Remember to exhale. We don't have transits, any transits beginning. We're working through them. So this does make the load today a little bit easier. Thursday, we begin with the moon entering Capricorn, your emotional self in Capricorn, wanting to get stuff done. The moon in Capricorn is open and ready for a challenge and to take one on. So you're feeling up to the challenge, know that self-discipline can help you to succeed. Failing in self-control or becoming a control freak just ruins this opportunity. So the shadow, moon can be emotional and moody, and Capricorn can be that control freak. Excuse me. So that's how you ruin this. Let's see. And Mercury on Thursday enters Scorpio in retrograde. So Mercury is revisiting Scorpio. So it's revisiting a learning of depth of knowledge and digging into things and exploring things more deeply. So this is your ability to learn and communicate in Scorpio depth. And so that's what we're looking at here. And right here in the corner, if you look, you can see a little bit of black. That's Tuxedo Cat getting in the way. So reflect on your learning, especially depth of learning, or about taboo topics. Scorpio can be about those topics that we just don't talk about in polite company. So it can be about that. So how are you handling that? What are you learning about that? How are you communicating those things? It can be important. Um, Also look to see if you're communicating honestly with yourself and others. That's another trait of Scorpio, honest communications. The shadow here, avoid hurting yourself or thinking about missed opportunities or truth that you're not ready to accept. Mercury, again, learning communications. The Scorpio can be moody, broody. It can get itself so lost in the trees that it can't see the forest. So getting lost in knowledge and lost in information, so lost that you can't use it or doing anything with it. Horrible. In the world. I love how my cat's like stepping on my keyboard. Okay, there we go. And on Thursday, not long after Mercury enters Scorpio, it will be conjunct the sun, and the sun will race ahead of Scorpio for a little while, which is fine. So this is a time of reflection in your learning and your depth of learning about yourself and how are you communicating who you really are. So reflect on what and how you're learning and communicating. What are you learning about yourself? And are you open to new ideas and information? And are you willing to explore them more deeply? Be careful of getting too lost in the details or refusing to venture at all. And, um, like I said, Scorpio can get so lost in the forest that it can't see the trees, and sometimes it can scare itself just with words and ideas, and therefore not want to venture out at all. So be careful of that. Also, spending time on meaningless information or ideas, wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter in the long term. Another thing you can do here. Also, Mercury with communication about yourself. Yeah, be careful of snarky comments or and putting you on the wrong path. Also, look at your self-talk. What are you saying to yourself or about yourself? Because words you say to yourself become your reality and they create your reality. So you do want to look at that, analyze what you're saying to yourself, actually carefully listen to it, and learning how to say affirmations and how to talk to yourself so that you actually, using your words and thoughts actually change yourself. You need to be careful of that. So watch what you're saying to yourself. It can actually hold you back in life. Also, be careful about talking endlessly about details without context or meaning. This can be a waste of your time and other people's and get you nowhere fast. Anything as you avoiding listening to others shows where growth can be beneficial. So look at where you're trying not to listen to people or where you think you know everything, because chances are you don't, and that's the area of growth right now for you. And furthermore, on Thursday, this is where life starts getting busy. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, busy part of the week. Mars moves station retrograde in Cancer. This is a pause. Station retrograde here is a pause, and it's having the courage to take care of yourself. And are you? Are you taking care of yourself and your needs? Make sure you take time to nurture and protect yourself. You know, the old adage, I had friends who worked on the airlines, and what they would say to do is when that, if you ever got in turbulence and those masks drop down, you put yours on first, and then you can take care of other people. This is time for you to reflect. Are you taking care of yourself? And are you having the courage to take care of yourself and speak up for your needs? Because if not, you're going to run into problems. Playing the everything is fine game can lead to self-wounding. Be careful being defensive or snippy. My gosh, Mars behind the armor of Cancer with those claws. Yeah, it is. Feeling drained or struggling to be invisible also misses the path and purpose of this time. Cancer likes to be invisible, and Mars falling into fear and trying to hide away. Ick. What are you afraid of and why? Address it. And here we go, Friday. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio squaring Saturn. So you're blah. Look at your learning and communication and how much you know and what you know and how deep you know it. And look at the challenge. The challenge here. Remember, squares are challenges. They're designed to strengthen you. So by working through the challenge, you actually develop strength. And the challenge here is what you're learning and communicating. Is it authentic to you? And are you letting go of what isn't authentic to you? And what's not true about to you, and information that's not useful to you as well, and that's not serving your development as an individual. So accept the challenge, releasing information about who you are not. Situations can show you where this can happen and what growth would be good for you to take on and learn from. Look to authentic people and their struggles for ideas and information on how to achieve this change. Looking at famous people, look at your biography section. Who sticks out to you that dealt with similar situations to you? These people can be good examples for you to learn from. Resisting learning or being fake or clinging to old ideas about who you think you are leaves you living under pressure. And this pressure can just grind you down and wear you down. And being lost in the forest under heavy pressure, trying to get out, lost in a maze. You get so lost in information that you don't know, where the beginning and end is. That's that. And that can leave you not knowing who you are or why you are. All right, let's see. Venus conjunct Pluto. Yes, she's racing through the sky right now. She is. Conjunct Pluto. So relationships and transformation. So having faith, the ability to transform your relationships and change them, and ideally take them to a new level or a deeper level or a higher level, whatever you want to call it. Adding depth to it as well and learning to have trust in people, I think, is very important. But be open to ideas of how to transform your relationships or creativity. Look to add depth whenever possible. Also be able to face deep truths, This is very important, being able to receive deep truths from other people. Changing beliefs of others can lead to growth and transformation of the relationship. And there's the parkour kitten deciding he wants to sit on me again. The shadow here, Venus can be slick and manipulative. Pluto, deeply wounding. So this could be a and I talked about Sagittarius being over or underconfident, and that can lead to irresponsible choices, bad decisions that leads to wounding of people in relationships, particularly, especially yourself. So missing this opportunity can lead to loss of trust and suspicion about others, whether real or not. It's possible to engage in psychological projection, where you take your flaws and project them on other people, when in reality, you're really talking about yourself. Um, yeah. So this can be a real problem and challenge here. Okay, why did that pop up? All right. And you're ready for our next event. Neptune moves station direct in Pisces. So this is you're learning. Neptune is spirituality. And so it's possible to, this will be an opportunity for you to move forward and grow in your spirituality. And Neptune's actually starting to inch closer, I think, to the North Node. So your spiritual destiny will be coming forth soon. Come on, Toes. So learning to be present in the moment and learning to surrender and let go of spiritual expectations can be beneficial. Pay attention to psychic events, as they may have important meaning and information. So yeah, you may feel a little stuck psychically or spiritually, but know that you'll be able to work through it and move forward and make progress. The shadow is falling into fantasy, and Neptune and Pisces really can get you lost there fast. So falling into fantasy or denial or trying to escape situations can have you lost in a maze of self-created confusion. Possible to fall into fantasy and live in a self-created delusion. So Neptune and Pisces is all about trying to escape reality. And that can be a bad thing. Okay. And also, is this on Friday? Yes, finally on Friday, we have the sun finally entering Ophiuchus. There are people who do have it entering Ophiuchus earlier. And like I said, on the IAU boundaries, where they have the IAU boundary drawn for Ophiuchus, if you dig deep in those stars on that border, on the Ophiuchus side of the border, those stars' names begin with the word Scorpius, which means it's actually the constellation Scorpio. So by using Athens Mentis midpoints, I think we're actually more into Ophiuchus. Granted, the borders are all fuzzy, but I think this is more clearly defined. But the sun in Ophiuchus is learning to heal your core identity. Remember, the symbol here is of the U, which is the arms of a person holding that squiggle represents a snake. And in ancient times, a snake symbolized knowledge and information. So when you held a snake by the head and tails, that meant control of knowledge. So it's you learning about yourself so you can heal your core identity. It's okay, Toes. So this is an opportunity for about the week that the sun is going to be in Ophiuchus, for you to be able to heal your core identity. So let's see what I have here. Focus on healing your ego or your core identity. Learn how you heal and take time to practice it. We all heal different ways, and these are all going to be in different houses. So look to see where this wound is so that you can focus on it and heal it. Refusing to learn or using the knowledge to wound yourself or other leads to cruelty and the opportunity for vengeance. And playing the victim can lead to loss. This is also another thing that can happen. The "oh, woe is me" syndrome. You can lose friends fast. And on Friday leads us to the opportunity for the sun in Ophiuchus opposite Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. So how is what you're learning about yourself, and how is this healing bringing you the opportunity for peace and stability? Excuse me, long day. Reflect on the faith in yourself and your ability to heal and find strength or peace. Be open to the opportunities that lead you to this healing and stability. Remember, an opposition is about balance. So you're balancing healing and stability. And you'll be able, if you do it properly, you'll be able to find both. However, in the shadow, this turns into a tug of war. The ego on one side and Jupiter's overconfidence on the other. And it's one that can leave everybody falling into the mud. So yeah, the sun can fall into deeper wounding, and you've got Taurus being a lazy bull or the proverbial bull in the china shop. So missing this can have you fall into regret over the choices you made to satisfy the shadow. Um, Falling into arrogance or pride or a lack of confidence can lead to even more wounding and more injuries. So do be careful about that. If you find your confidence in a struggle with your identity, take the time to pause and find out where is that happy medium so that you can balance it. Saturday. No. Oh, yeah, no. Venus enters Capricorn. Yes, there we go. Saturday, Venus enters Capricorn. I thought it said moon. I already did that. Venus enters Capricorn on Saturday, and Capricorn's the GSD sign. It recognizes that doing things requires work and effort, ruled by Saturn, maturity, self-discipline, and what? Venus, relationships. So this is doing the work of maturing in your relationships. Time to put the big boy and big girl pants on and grow up. In your relationship. So this is an opportunity for you to do the work of growing and maturing in your relationships. And also remember, Venus governs the arts, so also creativity. So work at building integrity in your relationships, and learning to work with others can be beneficial. And this is a time to take action. Capricorn is roll the sleeves up and let's start doing. Virgo can plan things to death and plan things out nicely. Capricorn is get up and go and do it. The shadow here, Venus, slick and manipulative, and Capricorn can just feel overwhelmed and become a control freak because it wants things to turn out a certain way. And when you've got that control freak pride mentality combined with being slick and manipulative, do I need to say anything else on how this is a recipe for disaster? But I have that doing that can lead to loneliness, and using force can also have the same results. So it is possible by being slick and manipulative that you can alienate and find yourself being more alone and having to do things alone instead of having fun. And late on Saturday, we do have the moon entering Aquarius. And this is just a time of emotional freedom and a time for you just to feel what you feel and be real about it. So yeah, so find freedom by releasing need for approvals from others to feel what you want to feel. Know what you're feeling and feel it. Open yourself up to your own feelings and your emotions and live them instead of trying to hide from them. Now, the shadow, we do know the moon can be irrational and moody and act up and act out. And you add to that Aquarius, acting out to get a reaction from people or selling out in the hopes of fitting in. You have a recipe for a mess. Acting up or out or selling out has you settling into a shadow of who you really are. And if you don't know who you are, nobody else does. And Sunday. Sunday has that Venus in Capricorn in a sextile to the North Node in Pisces. So just basic Venus relationships, working with others, North Node towards your destiny and purpose at this time. I would know what your North Node is on your natal chart and what that final purpose is, and then know what step this Pisces is. That will help give this transit even more meaning. And also especially to know how Pisces relates to that natal North Node can be very important, so you can really hone in on those lessons. But this is the hard work of working with others and knowing that other people, that when you learn to be present and work with other people, you can actually find out what it is you're here to accomplish and be able to make progress towards it and release the things that are holding you back from this point of achievement. So let's see, working with others can help you find your purpose in life, learn to trust and let go, and Pay attention to those who know their why in life for ideas and inspiration. Knowing your why am I doing this, is what gives you meaning. So knowing the why of the relationships can be equally as important. Ignoring your purpose, or putting your effort into living a fantasy that or alive leaves you doing meaningless work. Also, trying to get others to do your life work for you leaves you feeling empty and lonely and isolated. So that could be a disaster there. And sextile is that interest, nervousness, and just watch it go bad. And Sunday, we also have the first quarter moon in Aquarius. So this is the sun in Ophiuchus squaring the moon in the sun. Yeah, the sun in Ophiuchus squaring the moon in Aquarius. Sun in Ophiuchus healing your core identity and that challenge of you feeling what you really feel. So this is that first challenge, and being able to feel that and how that can help you by working through those feelings can help you heal your core identity. Very important. Find healing by accepting the challenge of being authentic, your individual self. Make quiet time so you can be making quiet time can be beneficial to see what this means for you. So during this day or when this transit happens, knowing when to chill out and just pay attention, or just paying attention throughout the whole day, can be very, very valuable insights. Excuse me. In the shadow, well, we all know about the wounded ego. And the moon in Aquarius acting up and acting out and selling out or trying to fit in, I mean, just leads to deeper wounding and a crushing of your identity, and you feeling like you're wasting time and worthless. And finally, we end with the sun, with the moon entering Pisces. So Pisces being the sign of spirit, or we call it the sign of spirituality, but moon is your emotional self, is seeking a vision and a purpose for your life. The only way you're going to do that is to be emotionally present. Means you have to spend energy to be where you are in the sky and in your life as well. So seek a new vision for your life. Growth comes through spirituality and personal spiritual practices. Slipping into fantasy or delusion can leave you feeling isolated and lonely emotionally. And that's the shadow here, because the moon can be irrational, and Pisces is falling into fantasies. This is just a recipe for bad. So do follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I do post on these sites. Also check out the Digital Soul Space, password protected. Triple moderator website that focuses on spirituality and all different types of modalities. These companies here are getting billions of dollars off of you and not giving you much of anything. Digital Soul Space run completely by donations. So the money it's paid that if you make donations or you set yourself up a store on the site, and the money from that goes into helping keep the site up and running. So it's really cool. And there's astrology in there. There's gems and tarot and oracle cards and Wicca and witches and Celtic dream interpretation, all sorts of things, everything and anything metaphysical. And if you don't see it, just ask, because somebody will put it in there and you'll get a good discussion going. Side reminder, now I'm having technical difficulties because my web is not working well. I'd have my site up, but I do have a website and I do offer readings, birth charts, and karmic charts. The birth chart is your identity in this lifetime. The karmic chart is the identity from a previous life that you came here to release and how. The chart tells you that. So those are two core readings. I always say start out with them. If you want to see how your chart changes, you schedule a quick 6, and I do 6 key points off your chart and give you a recording on how to see that. And so this gives you an idea on how your chart changes. So that's the first key, understanding who you are in your karma. The second key that I offer are those horoscopes, and we can do yearly quarterly, monthly, and those are not set in stone. Everybody's like, "Oh, do I have to wait till January 1st?" No, my friend is Jewish and asks me to start in September. I have another friend who's Native American, and he says he says his nation's New Year is just as the day after the midwinter solstice. And he had no problems calling me up and telling me what day the solstice was and what day the new year and what day their new year was going to start. And then I needed to be cognizant of it. So yeah, but digital soul space and site reminder readings packages. And then I do have packages where I bundle readings together. And if you get a bundled reading, excuse me, it's a 10% discount. And yeah, it's a 10% discount. And it works out well. And let's see. My friend Rio Larmon makes a true sidereal planner, and she's got different versions, and she's got a download and then a hard copy booklet. So if you want it really fast, you can download it and download these PDFs, or you can order a book that will be physically delivered to your house. And if she's using the binding that she's using, it's a really nice brass ring. It looks like brass rings, Amy, but it's a ring bound, so it's very durable. So there's her email, or there's her link tree, and her thing is available in PDF and print, so you can download it immediately and have it right away. And the print is actually mailed to you. They print it out and send it. That's cool. So thank you very much. Like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. I do have a newsletter, so if you do go to freedomthroughastrology.com and get the pop-up, all I need is an email, and you do get an overview of the weekly transits. I give you an astrology tidbit and bonuses, etc. But yeah, I'm getting tired, so I need to get this over. So thank you very much for watching this. Like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Have the best week possible, and hopefully if you've been hit by this storm, that you're safe. Enjoy. Be safe. Be well.